and we'll get to that shortly. And then we're supposed to have a second one with Greek. Instead, we'll look at what might it take to implement a full program from zero to completion in CLT, and some reflections on that. And then we'll have two faculty instructors of Biblical Hebrew who will talk about their journey of going from teaching, should I call it the old methodology, grammar translation, some would call it the current methodology, but going from grammar translation and launching into doing a communicative language teaching approach to the biblical languages. So what we wanted to do in this session, what the committee decided is, we have heard that there are people out there who have heard about this thing about trying to go immersive with the biblical languages, but felt too daunting to try to take it on. And so we thought it would be useful for us to hear about people who've also heard about it and either jumped in with, should I call it 1 foot or 2 feet into the deep end to do it, and maybe give you some insights and give you some people you can talk to try to get some advice of people on the ground who did it. So that's kind of the purpose for the 4 papers that we have today, this afternoon. I also want to congratulate all of you because it is the last session at ETS and you're still here and you look like you're still alive and coherent, and so that's a wonderful thing as well. So thank you for coming out and joining us this afternoon. Hopefully we'll see these same numbers in a couple hours from now, but nonetheless, I want to thank you for being here and blessing us with your presence. My name is Brian Schultz. I am currently the chair of the Applied Linguistics and Biblical Languages Committee, and I have personally been involved in communicative language teaching myself for a number of years, and so this is a topic that's dear to my heart. So I think we'll stop right there and let our presenters here. We'll have we've got about 40 minutes per presenter. So we instruct about 20 to 30 minutes of paper, leaving us for about 10 minutes of time for question and answer. Although I'd probably also like to leave about 5 minutes at the end for us to kind of stretch and allow the blood to go back up to our brains and refresh our minds.
I think they give you 10 minutes.
They're supposed to, yes. I'm being a bit of a rebel and saying that I will allow presenters, if they go beyond the 20 minutes that we had suggested and go to 30 minutes, that I'll let that go a little bit. But we'll have to do a hard stop to give us about 5 minutes to allow for speakers to transition and the rest. But I want this to be a profitable time. I want there to be discussion as much as possible. So that's the purpose. So if presenters, you can keep it closer to 20 minutes, that'd be great. It'll allow for more time for conversation. But I won't be, what would be the term? I won't be an autocrat with the exact clock that way, but probably once we hit close to 30 minutes, you'll see me waving something or letting you know that you should think about closing down pretty quickly, but I hope that won't be an issue. So, our first paper today is by Jose Diaz from Andrews University, although he just recently was hired at Sattler College, and will be teaching Greek there, and he wants to tell us a bit about his journey of implementing some CLT and tell us what he's learned from implementing what he calls a hybrid approach, which is kind of mixing grammar translation together with communicative language teaching. So, Jose, all yours.
Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank the committee of the Applied Linguistics and Biblical Languages for giving me this opportunity. And today we are going to address this topic, lessons learned from the implementation of a hybrid approach in Greek. So let me start by saying, either we like it or not, there is a dichotomy, okay? As I said, either we like it or not. We have on one side, we have the GT, grammar translation method, and on the other side, we have the communicative language teaching method. So we have these both sides that we want to, in my presentation, that we would like to bring together. So hopefully I can see, there's a little bit of glare there. Okay, Carlos. So I was trained in seminary with the grammar translation method, but I came across the communicative language teaching, or the communicative language method, through the conversational Koine Greek, or Koine Greek, it depends how you pronounce it, the Biblical Language Center, and more recently with Biblingo. So, with this idea, for me, since I was trained in second language acquisition, doing a master's degree, for me, it just simply made sense to teach the so-called dead language as a living language. So what is the hybrid 50-50 approach? First of all, I would like to say that in 2022, I took a class with Dr. Kaiser, and the name of the course was Linguistics for Theologians. Coming from the applied linguistics section, from background, applied linguistics / second language acquisition, I was excited. I wanted to learn more from the broad perspective of linguistics. So I did a research paper on analyzing both methodologies. And after researching that semester, I came to the conclusion, tentative conclusion, that probably the best method to implement at a Bible college, seminary, university, might be the 50-50 model. Why? You would ask why. Well, first of all, there are professors who have been teaching with the same method for 10, 20, or even 30 years. They will not be so excited to start this new methodology. So, then the second reason is that we think that if students keep going to the next level, getting a master's and beyond, they will need the meta language that is taught on the grammar translation side of things. And let's see what else here. So it's kind of hard here. Okay. Let's move on. So I decided to implement this approach. So we started for 2 years. I taught at the high school level. High school students, they don't want to become pastors, they don't care about anything else, but they wanted to learn Greek. So I started there and as a pilot program, and for 2 years I was able to teach in this pilot program. During that time, I was able to implement what I call the balanced approach 50-50 method. You see a few pictures here from that experience. But still, even when I presented in 2023 at the research conference at Andrews University, the question was, have you tried this with seminary students? Have you tried this with undergraduate students? And the answer was obvious, not yet, right? Not yet. So in 2023, in the fall of 2023, I had the opportunity to partner with Professor Jesus Anco, who is here today. Professor Anco, could you please raise your hand? Thank you so much, and stand up. Thank you so much. So he believed in this methodology. He said, okay, let's try, let's partner up. Okay, he was the main professor on records, and I came to do the half part of the class, meaning the immersion piece, okay, while he was still doing the grammar translation approach. So that year, I was able to teach via Zoom to students in Peru, undergraduate students. See here, a few pictures. Then, I was able to do this because I had a partner, someone who was doing the grammar translation while I was doing the immersion piece. And during the immersion piece, we were praying in Greek, we were singing, We're using puppets, props, pictures, and different activities to engage students in the language. So, what I noticed is that students were excited as soon as I logged into the Zoom meeting. Students were screaming Greek. They were screaming things such as here, kalos, posegis. You could really see that they were ready and excited to learn. And that's what we want to see in a classroom. That's what we want to see in a Greek classroom. And I also noticed that they loved singing. And that really encouraged me. At the end of the semester, we sent a survey, and I'm going to share some of the results. Of course, I got a certificate there of participation in helping implement this approach. So these are some of the questions that we had for students. As you can see there, these are just a sample of questions, and I'm going to give you the summary, what I can see from here. Okay, so 100% of students, we had 31 students said that this was the first time they took a Greek class. Okay, so we started with that. The second thing they said, all of them, 100% said that they like participating in the activities during the class. That's also very encouraging. That 81% of students said that when they listened to spoken Greek being used in the class, they were able to understand. Then, let me see, is someone who's closer there? 81% said that they are confident when speaking Greek in class. Also encouraging. 81% said that when they read Greek in class, they were able to understand, and that Greek was important for them. And what else? 97% said that they would see themselves using Greek 5 years down the road. We'll come back to that, to those results later on. So, what did I learn from implementing this balanced approach? Well, first of all, I learned that listening to Greek is important. Listening to the target language is important. Okay? There are some studies that suggest this. Let me see here that a study done by the University of Delaware at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, suggests that when students listen to the target language, both sides of the brain are engaged. So, which is important for second language acquisition, especially in adults, as the study suggests. So Dr. Key and her colleagues released these results. And I think it's very important for us to listen to these results, because students want to hear more Greek in the classroom. So what about when it comes to listening beyond the classroom? Beyond the classroom, I came across this app that was released about maybe 6 or 7 months ago. Very, very nice app. My friend here, Jorge Murillo from Peru, and his team is working on this app, and it's freely available, and you can also lower the intensity. Let's say that you don't want the full intensity of the audio. You can lower it to 75% or 50%. Some of my students said that they still find helpful to do the 50%. Okay? For me, it's too boring because it goes word by word, but for them, it's still good. So I would suggest that you check out this app, Literary Rendition. What else did I learn? Can someone help me read the first part, the first sentence up there?
The importance of using a sign.
Yes, the importance of using a sign. Okay, a sign. What is a sign for? To distinguish between languages. In my case, English, Greek. So I have this sign. I use this sign. I design this sign, and one side it says "Welcome." That means that when students are coming in, they see the sign. They are talking in English, no problem. And then when we start the immersion piece, I turn the sign, and now it says "Kalosíltate." Okay? So that's when I jokingly say, now you turn on that switch in your brain, now you start thinking all Greek. They always laugh, especially the first semester, because what can they access if there is nothing yet? But as time goes on, there is a lot that they can access. So, very important to use a sign. And I use it, and it has helped my class. The next one, another brave person. Just the first part.
The importance of debriefing time after immersion.
Yes. So after the immersion piece, students look at you, especially because you are looking at your students, and after you have the immersion piece, they have time to ask you any words that they didn't get, any phrases that you said that it was not too clear for them. They can ask during the debriefing time. And this is used especially for dual language education. Okay, when students are learning two languages at the same time. We use this strategy because I taught in dual language before coming to seminary to study full time. The next one, another person, please.
Using known narratives from the Greek New Testament.
Yes. I know this makes some people nervous. I know it, because we have talked about it. But don't be nervous, because in the second language acquisition world, we have what we call a theory of transfer. What does that mean? That what you know in your L1, in your first language, you could transfer in your target language, in this case Greek. So if you already know something, your job is to transfer all the skills, all whatever you know. So we start with known narratives from the New Testament. But people say, but they already know. So what? Now they are learning another language. Give them this opportunity to take from their L1 and transfer it to their L2. It's okay. It's not cheating, as some people call it. Okay? Well, I could talk about it forever, but let's keep moving. So, with proper scaffolding, students could start reading basic passages from the New Testament. And remember, the key phrase is proper scaffolding, not just out of the blue. Next one. Another person, please.
It is important to connect the theme of a song with the theme of the passage being read.
Yes, thank you so much. I know you're even closer. You see?
Yeah.
Okay. So I started developing songs. And if you go to our YouTube channel, A+ Lingua, thankfully you will not hear me. There is a singer who sings. Okay, so I'm there looking for my voice, because you won't be happy. But if you hear the singer singing in Greek, it's a beautiful thing. And but how do you do that? Well, first you choose the passage that you are going to use, and then make sure you connect it. It's not just singing because you want to sing. No, it's you connect the song with the passage, with the theme of the passage that you are going to study. As I said, I will refer you to our page, our YouTube channel, A+ Lingua, and you know what to do, subscribe. The next one, please.
Do immersion first.
Yes. If you are doing the 50-50 model, if you want to start a 50-50 model, do immersion first. Why? Because if you start with GTM first, you will keep going with GTM. Your students will even trick you so you continue. Yeah, because it's easier to talk about the language than speak the language that you are teaching. So maybe that would be a good Twitter, right? A good Twitter phrase. Yeah. So let's go to the next one.
Going from a 50-50 to 90-10 instruction model.
Yes. So this is exciting for the person who will be presenting next, right? Because I'm not just advocating that you stop here. But once you get to the 50-50 model, then it's easier for you to transition into a 90-10 that I had to do that I started in the fall, in August. I went from the 50-50 model into a 90-10, which is what we are using at Sattler. Okay, now 90% of the time is in Greek and only 10% in English. So it's easier because you have been preparing yourself to do more. It's not to do less. More is better. But you can start, your goal could be the 50-50. How do you start? Well, I know people always ask me, how did you do it? It takes time. It takes even years, according to research, from 5 to 7 years. So you could start doing this. But if you're not doing the full immersion, if you don't want to, if you want, you can do the 50-50. Start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You can tell your students, okay, I'm going to immerse you for 5 minutes, just so you can start tasting. And in reality, you are doing it both sides, let's just say. Because you can only handle 5, and then once you can handle 5 minutes, now add 10, 15, until you get half of your class in Greek and the other half in English. Next one.
The importance of comprehensible input.
Yes. This is something that I am learning. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, open with you. It's something that I'm exploring still. How much Greek should I speak in the classroom? Some people say that I speak a lot of Greek, that sometimes students don't fully understand. But I'm trying to be aware of that. So I'm still working at that. How much? How many words should I speak? But since I come from second language acquisition, and especially ESL, because I'm not only an ESL student, but also I was trained in second language acquisition. So I know both sides. So I know that sometimes you could still do more and then use the debriefing time to clarify the things that were not too clear for students. So, but still, I'm still working on that. So students and people will have to be patient with me, because sometimes I do more than I should, because I get excited, especially when it comes to speaking Greek. All right, next one, please.
So instead of an instructor stringing 5 or 6 sentences together in a beginning classroom, the instructor might engage learners in the content of meaning making all along the way.
Yes. So the idea is that we don't talk at students, but we talk with students, constantly checking, are they understanding? Are they getting what I'm saying? That's the main idea here. And so some ideas for how to build. I have like 6 boxes of props. Sometimes I didn't know, but when I try to organize my props, I realize that I have double of some things. I have a double of this, double of that. But some ideas would be try it at Goodwill, try it at a garage sale. Something that helped me was what I say here, like birthday gifts. Like for instance, it was my birthday, and suddenly, guess what? I received the puppet, the Jesus puppet. You know who gave me the gift? I gave it to me. I gave it to me, yeah, myself. Nobody will recognize that I need this puppet. My wife says that I don't need it. I think I do. So, and there is no problem, because if she says something, it's my birthday. What can you say, right? What about Christmas? What about teacher appreciation? Someone will have to appreciate what you are doing. Maybe if nobody else, appreciate yourself. All right, next one, please.
The importance of writing.
Yes, another area that I'm still growing. How much writing should we have in a Greek class? I'm working on it, so I'm giving some ideas. I'm following the gradual release of responsibility that starts with students. As you see here, in the first part, I do. Students tell me what they remember from the narrative, and I write in a live document. And they see as I'm writing. I'm the secretary, they are telling me what to write. The first step. In the second step is we do. Students tell me what they remember from the passage, from the narrative, from the story. I write, and then I allow students to write known vocabulary such as Jesus and things like that, that they will remember. And then in the next step, students work together to construct, to put together a writing, and finally, they do it on their own. So what can they use? So I have a picture here of what I call a word wall. This is known in second language acquisition. So the classroom, you will see in a classroom, words hanging on the wall. Words hanging on the wall. I have the luxury of having that wall just for that word wall. Not everybody is so lucky, but I have to spend a lot of time creating this. But students can use this to write. If they don't remember how to write a word, they can look up at the word wall and type it. And what about electronic tools? So two that I would suggest would be this one, the Biblical Greek Dictionary app. Students can check on the writing. And also this one, the first one created by Jay Roden. I wanted to give him the credit. And this one by Jeff
Jansen.
There you go, Jeff Jansen. Okay, the Greek Study app. The first one is only in iOS, and I prefer this one, but if students don't have iOS, like iPhones, then this one would be for both iOS and, but I prefer this one, but you know how it is. So, next one.
Helping students become lifelong readers of the Greek scriptures.
That's another area that I'm still working. How do you help students to fall in love with the Greek scriptures? I'm always thinking about that. How do you combine academics with the spiritual part of teaching Greek? It's not just learning Greek. So, an idea is that if students enjoy their learning, they will come back for more. That's a given. You don't have to be a scientist to realize that. If you enjoy something, maybe I shouldn't say ice cream, but maybe if you enjoy ice cream, you want a little bit more, right? So the same thing with Greek. If you have a great time learning Greek, then you will come back for more. So we have here some of my students now at Sattler, and I'm using the Greek Scripture Journal. Maybe some of you are familiar by Crossway, released in 2020, I believe. And I have 2 samples of how my students use the Greek Scripture Journal. So here, you see they are different. If you see my journal that I have it, right now I'm going through the book of Romans. If you see my journal, it looks very different. Because I don't want them to copy from me, because we are all different. So just look at these elements and that's it, but then you do what you need to do. You can see this here with 2 students, different results. A summary, right? So what can we say? All of what I just said, because time is running out. But let me close by saying, if you are on the sidelines, if you are deciding, how can I start into this world of communicative language teaching? Probably the 50-50 model is best for you, because you can start with 10 minutes, then you add until you get to 50. After that, it will be easier if you want to go full immersion, as we have here, either the 90-10 or the full immersion. Thank you very much.